Doesn't it look like a nice parking spot? I mean, it's open, it's big.
And that is exactly the problem, and it has been for a long time.
Yeah.
Vincent Drennen Sr. and Vincent Drennen Jr. have lived in this home near Southeast 101st and Division for decades. But for some reason, their home right on the corner has become a massive dumping ground for just about everything.
Bags of garbage, debris, parked cars, junk cars, wrecked cars. How many wrecked cars have we gone through here?
7, 8.
7 or 8?
5 months ago, we told you about the cars, many of them likely stolen, that were being dropped off smack in front of their home. We called the city, and that issue seems to have improved a bit. However,
they just use this corner as a dump site for some reason. I mean, it's secluded at nighttime, no cars around, nice dark spot, unload their and take off.
Case in point, several bags of what appear to be marijuana stems just tossed into the Drennens yard.
When I first seen that, I thought it was Kentucky Fried Chicken barrels. Oh no, somebody dumped a bunch of rotten chicken out there.
First stolen cars, now all this trash. It's a problem that would keep most people awake at night. For Drennen Jr., it actually did for a while.
I'm frustrated. It sucks. But there ain't nothing you can do. Set up all night long and sit in your car waiting for someone to do something. You can't do that. I had stuff stolen and I laid traps and stayed up all night long, tried to catch them, and they never do it when you're awake.
Several bags of garbage sit in front of the Drennen home after someone came by and dumped them. They know calling the city won't do any good.
Eventually they'll come get the cars, but they're not going to come get the bags of garbage. That's been sitting there for a month. That over there has been sitting there for a week and a half, 2 weeks. They're not going to come get the garbage. I got to take care of the garbage.
Eventually he will, and wait for the next load to be dumped, the next stolen car to be abandoned. Vincent Drennen Sr. bought this home in 1970. His son has urged him to consider selling, but he just can't do it, despite his yard becoming a dumping spot.
My fishing gear's in there, my hunting gear's in there, my sentiments, memories.
Yeah.
And where are you going to go when you're 85 years old?
People at the end of this rent check that you get every month.
A Sherwood resident is calling on lawmakers to take action after she says she was priced out of her home. K2's Christina Giardinelli is in Salem tonight looking into what lawmakers are trying to do about situations like this. So, Christina, Oregon has rent control laws. Were they followed?
Yeah, this is one of the loopholes to Oregon's rent cap laws. In situations where the building was built less than 15 years ago, the landlord is able to increase the rent, and that is what is happening to this resident I spoke to. She says her rent is increasing by $560, and she's calling on lawmakers to increase renter protections. Like many Oregonians during the pandemic, Jessica Israel and her family ran into some hard times.
My husband had been laid off twice. Then we had found out that I was pregnant with our first child, and that was in 2020. Right after he got back to work, right at that same time, I was diagnosed with a non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. So I was diagnosed with cancer while I was pregnant, and then he permanently injured.
She says despite their struggles, they always paid rent on time and are good tenants. Now her apartment in Sherwood is increasing the rent.
It's like, okay, we're already making it. We're doing the best we can. We're paying our bills, but that's unreasonable for anyone, no matter, what you're doing and what your situation is.
She says the rent for her 3-bedroom apartment is going up more than $500 from $1,750 to $2,300. The landlord is able to circumvent Oregon's rent cap laws because the building is less than 15 years old. Israel says it's on lawmakers to close loopholes like this one.
We pay so much attention to getting people off the streets, which is really important, but we also have to pay attention to keeping people in their homes and preventing them from getting on the streets.
It's year 4 of the coronavirus pandemic, and COVID-19 is still impacting our hospitals, along with a recent surge of the flu and RSV.
We are seeing some improvements in respiratory virus hospitalizations. Unfortunately, our hospitals are not yet able to resume their normal workflows.
Some hospitals are at or even above capacity, and after 3 years of long hours and extreme circumstances, healthcare workers are tired.
Is there anything OHA has learned from
maybe the most difficult times of the pandemic and the impact it had on health professionals, to now when we do see hospitals still, approaching the brink or maybe over the brink, that you can learn from those instances that could help now?
There's the acute issues that they're facing right now with flu, COVID-19, and RSV to a lesser extent circulating in our community. That not only makes individual Oregonians sick, it makes our healthcare providers sick. So we have more people seeking care in the short term and less people available to provide that care because we have staff that are out sick.
Therefore, the state is streamlining its process to license healthcare workers and bring in retired or out-of-state travel nurses to assist. OHA says RSV is down from its peak in November, but flu cases remain high, and COVID-19 is expected to increase soon when the highly contagious XBB.1.5 subvariant spreads to the Pacific Northwest.